So thank you for sending me this task. I can see it's a bit longer than would be required, but that's okay. So overall, the introduction is good. I would just encourage you to look at this. This should be illustrate with a double L, number of yearly sales. Here you've substituted annual with yearly, which is good. Sales of films in a specific shop in a decade. This in a decade could have been redundant, so you don't really need it if you have from 2002 to 2011. This sentence here, it needs a subject, Kusha. There is no subject here. And in English, you definitely normally need a subject. So it, and by it, in this case, we're referring to the chart. So it also highlights the annual number of rentals. A film, I don't fully understand. So rentals of films, you might want to say, or film rentals. Then you go on and you start talking about the highest number in the chart in the first 3 years. It's related to rental films. Now this is incorrect. You might want to say rented films. You might want to say film rentals. That would be correct, because here you're referring to the rentals. It's the number of rentals you're referring to, which in the first year was about 185,000. Moreover, there had been a steady increase. Had been shouldn't be here. This is a past perfect. Past perfect, it shouldn't be here because there is no past simple that this refers to. So you know that past perfect is a way of expressing an action that happened before another action in the past. And there is not the other action in the past in this sentence. So there had been a steady decrease in the number of rentals during the period. And by the end of the period, this was about 55,000. That's fine. There was. As simple as that. On the other hand, although DVD sales had the lowest annual number of sales in 2012, there was a significant increase in the next 2 years, which we can see here. Following this, for 8 years, DVD sales were top of the charts, and this is how we use this. However, so semicolon, however, comma, there was a gradual decline in the number of DVD sales from this to this, which was the peak of the bar chart to ba ba da ba da. Now, this is fine. All of this is fine. It does read a little bit like a list of numbers, which is something that we want to avoid. So for example, Kusha, if we start from a figure of almost 200,000 and then we finish with a figure of 55,000, that would be what, 1/3 roughly. So you could have said, rather than there was a steady decrease in the number, blah, 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 you could have just said that it was reduced by 2/3, for example. And the same goes for this part. So rather than sort of listing these numbers in a sense, it is much better if you can sort of find other ways of representing them, because it makes it a lot easier to read, and it also means that you're analyzing the numbers a lot better. So fractions, percentages, double, triple, that kind of thing. Another interesting point is regarding Blu-ray sales that just started in the middle of the period in 2007. And when we start a new clause with although, there should be something a bit more definite, sort of definite before. So you want either a full stop or a semicolon. Although this was the last amount in the chart, this isn't period, comma, this increased steadily over the last 5 years, up to around 15,000 in 2012. In spite of the annual number of VHS sales, now in spite of means it's the same as despite. So I don't know exactly what you wanted to say here, but I don't think you wanted to say despite. You may have wanted to say conversely, or on the other hand, perhaps, which decreased significantly. And again, this is reading a little bit too much like a list to me, just a list of numbers. Overall, what stands out from the chart is the variation, and now variation doesn't want a capital letter. Film sales over time, which shows that some products disappeared over time and other products replaced. It's either replaced them, so replaced the products that disappeared, and other products were replaced, depending on what you want to say. So were replaced by something. That's what's implied. Okay. So I think your question was about your punctuation, and I think your use of punctuation is fine. It's solid in this text, to be honest. I think you've used it quite well here. For example, moreover, following this. So on the other hand, those expressions that you use at the beginning of a sentence, really, to introduce the sentence. And I think I don't have too many comments about punctuation, really, because this is all right. Obviously, I can't mark it like I can't grade it. I can't give you a grade like I normally would with an IELTS task, because this is far longer than it would be. But it's a good effort. As I said, I think in the past you have made more of an effort to compare and contrast numbers so that it doesn't just read like a list, and that is what I would encourage you to focus on the most.